Welcome back into the Sports Source. This segment brought to you by Southeast Termite and Pest Control. A few weeks back, as the weather turned, I noticed 3 or 4 spiders in my home. It's like in a 3-day span, spiders. So I made a quick call to Southeast Termite and Pest Control. They did 1 exterior spray of my house. 1 spray, no more spiders. That handled it. Southeast Termite and Pest Control. They take care of my home. They can do the same for you, especially in mosquito season. They got all kinds of options available for their treatments. Southeast Termite and Pest Control. All right, take a look. National title odds. These are from 3 different online bookmakers, and I've kind of listed them in terms of best odds to worst odds. These are the only schools in the SEC that were listed by all 3 books. Like Kentucky was mentioned by a couple, but not all 3, so I just whittled it down. So these are your top 7. Alabama plus 350, according to OddsShark. That's the best numbers on the board. Georgia, LSU, Florida, Auburn, Texas A&M, Tennessee at plus 6,600. To put this in context, Alabama's 3rd in the nation behind Clemson and Ohio State on most of these books. So Alabama's 3rd, and then you got Georgia, LSU, Florida, and Auburn are all kind of in the top 10 to 11. Then you drop to Texas A&M, Tennessee's way on down the list. Josh, your thoughts on what does this tell you about how the bookmakers view Tennessee this year?
Well, I think the bookmakers at least see progress from Tennessee because Tennessee is on the list with all 3 of those. Yeah. But you can also see the gap that exists between, let's just say, the Tennessee program and the programs that Tennessee will face. Alabama, Florida, and Georgia. Stick to the East if you want to. Florida and Georgia.
Oklahoma's also in that top 10.
Yeah. Sure. So Tennessee is going to have a chance this season to show that it can be more competitive. The gap in the odds could also be backed up by the gap in performance against those level opponents the last 2 or 3 years. If Tennessee is more competitive, certainly if Tennessee wins one of those games, then a year from now when we have this conversation, Tennessee's odds will be closer to those teams.
Charles?
Well, you know, I look at that and I still think it's Alabama looks like people are going to be putting money on them to bounce back. I noticed how some of them, the disparity, you know, between one book and another on some of them. But on those, it's like Josh is saying, that just shows who you have to beat to get on that list. There's a lot of money, I think, floating around right now in Florida. People like Florida as being able to be maybe not a surprise pick in the East, but the chance to maybe go on and do something to get a pretty good return on your money.
Yeah, it is a reminder of the challenge, too. You're trying to get to the top of the SEC, having to play all those teams all being in that conversation. It's not, well, Florida's also trying to get there. Florida's considered to be either there or knocking on the door. Alabama and Georgia are there. So obviously Tennessee has its work cut out.
Let's take a look at what one bookmaker had to say about the SEC title odds, and just this has everybody in there. Alabama 7-10. So,
and they're basically even money on some other ones. Yeah. You know, that's almost a losing proposition there to me.
Well, exactly. Then you got Georgia, Florida, LSU, Texas A&M, Mississippi State from the West, 100-1, has the exact same odds as Tennessee. 100-1. And this is from VegasInsider.com, by the way. I thought that was surprising. The fact that they have Tennessee from the East, the easier East, with the same odds as Mississippi State from the tougher West in the first year under Mike Leach. Chuck, as if you're not going to be on the phone placing bets as soon as we go to commercial, what's the smartest money here?
Well, you know, you don't really would think LSU is going to be able to follow up what they did. You don't like the return on Alabama. I would still be looking at in the East, Georgia and Florida. To me, and then if you're looking at the longer odds, maybe Texas A&M at 10-1 doesn't look that good to me in the West. So, I mean, that's pretty tough right there to feel like you're going to be able to make something back on that unless you're looking at somebody else in the SEC East.
All right, we got to catch a break. Josh, you have a betting tip for anybody, or are you good with it?
Yeah, some fun odds on Florida, a little sprinkle on A&M.
Okay, very good. He's going to sprinkle on A&M. When we come back, Jeremy Pruitt took a stand with his players. Is that going to cost him at all in terms of creating a shorter leash for himself? We'll discuss. Come on back on the Sports Source.